Good evening, I'm Zaraganat. Welcome to the studio this evening. After yet another difficulty starting the stream. This time it would have been Visual Studio, which overwrote some of the files needed by Stream Deck to work properly. Which probably means Visual Studio may or may not work properly when I come back to looking at it after this stream. So, but we'll deal with that when it happens. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So that's awkward. Which way is it then? It was green, went yellow, yellow, came back yellow, went across yellow, yellow, come back, purple, purple, come back, go across there. Alright, so we start here and go there. Right. So I was going to potentially look at making a laser cutter tonight. But too much in too little time to set it up, so maybe another day, or maybe I'll just make that off stream. I don't want to keep doing this because my eyes tonight are somewhat so that audio's changed. It's probably laying out too loud, I bet. Let me listen to my own stream coming back and let's see what that sounds like. So let me just mute the microphone. Yeah, it's much too loud. It's not that music, it's been reset again. So at least let's go for okay, I forgot the other day that OBS was reinstalled, so all the microphone volumes were out, of course. Yes, so for some reason today my eyes are feeling, or especially my right eye is feeling quite sore. Don't know why. The right side to keep an eye on it. Wasn't quite what I meant. But the detailed work. Detailed work. They looking at this, trying to see these tiny holes. I'm not trying to get in the holes, but it helps you sort of judge distance. And my eye's not. You'll see me blinking a lot probably, as if indeed you can see the blink. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm new on holiday. What does that mean? You know what? It means I'm not working. I was working this morning, finished at lunchtime, and the day just seems to have disappeared rather quickly. Oh. For some reason I do not understand. It is really rather warm. It feels really rather warm here in the studio today. We are at 25 degrees. That probably explains it. It's been quite a warm day outside. 10 degrees. Yeah, 10 degrees. Hit 14 at one point. Might not sound much to some of you, but that was quite warm after we've been having sub-zero temperatures here recently. Had a nice pleasant day. 10 degrees. I kind of feel like I could do with 10 degrees in here now. I know that would end up being cold, but at the moment that just feels like it would be nice and refreshing. Be able to find the fan. At least I have a fan. A fan. Sorry, silly humour there really. That's a pile of wool. Right, so I've just forgotten where I know. I was forgetting now where I've got to. Got to straighten that out a bit. That probably looks a little bit odd on the other side. Actually, it doesn't look bad. Hello? Want to come and say hello? Oh, you did just say hello, didn't you? Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Everybody, say hello to Theo the pussycat. No longer a kitten, are you? Hey? You're getting to be older than a kitten. It's over a year old. And you know you can't go on the table. There's too many wool up there. Okay, down you go. There you go. I'm still turning him over. There, money's back. No. Now this rug is getting longer. It's getting within your reach, isn't it? You leave it alone, Theo. Right. So now we've got some more wool out. Let's start stabbing this material. No, that's not quite right. Shouldn't really say things like that. There we go. So I reckon what we're about half, this rug is about half done. It's amazing the amount of time it takes. You really wouldn't think it when you sort of look at it and you sort of see how quickly this sort of thing goes. And yet, I don't know how many streams this is now, but it's probably about 20 odd hours so far. We're about halfway through. So it's kind of an amazing amount of work to do, but you just don't realise it when you're doing this sort of thing. And time passes rather quickly as well when you're doing it. There's something quite satisfying about pushing a needle through canvas or whatever material, because it's the same thing when I'm doing the smaller pictures, except the smaller one I'm using a smaller needle. But yeah, there's just something that makes time just, you kind of, your brain just, I don't know. I won't say it switches off, that's not quite what I mean, but it's very easy just to let, the world pass by and you just do this and your mind wanders. Which of course when you're streaming is kind of the complete opposite to what you want. You don't want your mind to wander, you want to keep on track. But, you see, streamers have to deal with all sorts of things. And this is not like playing the latest AAA game where you've got to concentrate or you're killed every 10 seconds. You do have to concentrate to keep your lines straight and things like that and this, and stitches to be evenly placed and all this sorts of stuff, but guess you don't need the instantaneous reactions of somebody shooting an alien weapon at you. More stitches to the inch, just to sort of shorten the pack a little bit and spread out to fill in the rather large gap I've just left. And as we get over here, we'll go back to normal sort of spacing. When I started this rig, I kind of completely misestimated how long it would take, because I didn't think it would take this long. I mean, I know a small 12-inch diameter picture takes about somewhere between 10 and 20 hours to do, depending on the complexity of the image. Although it is being done with a smaller needle and smaller thread. But I kind of thought, oh, you know, something in probably a similar sort of vein for this. Yeah. So next time I decide to do a rug, somebody remind me just how long this took. So one of the other things I do outside of streaming is I sort of end up doing various bits of programming for myself. And recently I tried learning a little bit of Python, which is an interesting sort of language. And that didn't go to, I mean, I picked a particularly not very easy subject to learn on, but that's me all over. But I do learn a lot easier if I'm actually doing something which I want to do, as opposed to learning just, you know, sitting down with a textbook. If I've actually got a project to complete, I learn a lot better and faster, and it's more fun. But equally, I've just been doing exactly, so I did a program to help me when the bins are need to be emptied here at the studio, which days and which colour bin for recycling and things like that. And I just recently I mentioned I've been playing with something called Node Red for for Internet of Things, and connecting them together, because that's what you do with Internet of Things, is you connect them to each other to pass information and do useful things. So I've been trying to replicate exactly the same program I just wrote in Python, or the same functionality rather, in Node Red, which is JavaScript. Done some of that before, but it's not as easy as it sounds. It's not exactly a real-time language, but it is a language with events, and events are always an interesting thing. Now, generally speaking, it's the sort of thing you do with Visual Basic, or for applications, for example, of Visual Basic, C#, these sorts of things. Generally, you're speaking when you're programming for Windows, at least, you're doing programming, event-based programming, and it kind of all sorts of makes sense. With JavaScript, you're doing sort of more or less the same thing, and it really kind of more or less makes sense. Except your program can end before all your events are fired, and that's perfectly normal in JavaScript. Not necessarily in sort of the programming that I've been doing before, so that took a bit of getting used to. But I've now been doing JavaScript programming. Again, fairly complex task, but what the heck. You might not think just detecting which bin goes out next is a particularly sort of difficult task, but it's not necessarily, well, it's not fantastically easy, because there is no sort of nice fancy API on the internet that you can call. You have to download a file, a big file, a 250 plus megabyte file, and search through it for your address, shall we say, and then that tells you a bin and what date it's going to be collected. But there's multiple dates and multiple coloured bins, and there's one line for each of them, and they're arbitrary where they are in the file. They're not alphabetical or anything like that. And not only that, the dates are not necessarily in date order. So it's not like it's the first one or the last one, it's somewhere in the middle. And I wanted to do this without downloading the file completely, because originally I wanted to do this on a Raspberry Pi, and I did not want to be taking up 256 megabytes of memory or 256 megabytes of disk. Actually, I quite fancied doing it on an Arduino, and I definitely couldn't do it then. But it is possible to download these things and process it whilst you're downloading it, which is what I've been trying to do successfully now. But that's what makes this a complex task. If I wanted to just download the file and then parse the file, it would be relatively easy. But because I want to do it whilst it is downloading, parse the entries as they come in, and only keep the ones I'm interested in, that got harder, significantly harder. One of the hard things about that is you're using something called streams, and then you like to have libraries, pre-written code that will work with streams and do what you want. But it's not like there's any official ones of these, it's just user contributed libraries, and they may or may not be up to date, they may or may not be compatible with the version of whatever it is that you're using, and oh dear. So that's been a little bit of fun. But I do find it fun. I do find writing code fun. There is something, it's a bit like painting, I guess, or whatever. You know, you start with a blank canvas, you apply paint, you apply a bit more paint, you get a bit of what you're after, and you apply a bit more paint, and it gets closer. And you keep adding a bit more detail to it, and it gets closer to what you you envisage, and then in the end you've got the picture. I kind of program in the same sort of way. I start with rough concepts, and then maybe just tweak a bit to get it to do a little bit more closer to what I want it to, or work I want it to, or change the message to say something I want it to say rather than the default. These sorts of things, and I keep doing that and doing that, refining it basically until at the end I have an application doing what I wanted it to do. I program like I paint. But I do find it fun when there's that moment where you push the go button, you don't get an error or errors, and things start happening. If it's a program that displays something on screen, the screen lights up, if you pardon the expression, with your whatever it was, and displays what it was you were trying to do, and it moves, laughs, whatever, just like you want it to. And at that moment, it's a real sort of sense of accomplishment. Just like when an art piece is finished, that's it, it's done, I'm finished. Exactly the same sort of feeling. Programming isn't that hard. I've kind of grown up with it for a long time, and kind of once you've learnt the concepts, they sort of apply to lots of different languages. So I was about to sort of say, learning Python, learning JavaScript, it wasn't that hard. It probably would have been, but I'm kind of already familiar with things like event-based programming, things happening asynchronously, functions, structures, these sorts of things, and sort of some of the constructs like if, then, else, these sorts of things which get used in a lot of languages, which probably make it a lot easier for me to pick up a language than somebody who's never done programming before. But there is an awful lot of very nice teaching material out on the internet to help anybody get started. And it is kind of useful sometimes to be able to write your own programs. I was watching 84 Guy, who was a Twitch streamer the other day. He was streaming the other day, but he's a Twitch streamer, and the other day I was watching him, and he was he's been doing some development on screen for a game. Normally he streams things like Chainmail, or if he's streaming gaming, it's Truck Simulator. He was streaming and developing an application for an Android phone, or his Android phone, to allow him to remote control broadcast, his own broadcast. So on his phone he had sort of buttons, buttons which would let him switch scenes in OBS, turn elements on and off, and do all sorts of menu type stuff. To some extent, he's recreating his own version of Stream Deck. Okay, Wolfie. Which was absolutely fantastic, being able to do things like that. Let me check the mic. Turn the volume down on the music, so because it was rather loud. Because I reinstalled OBS. I've probably forgotten to put something back. Microphones. Filters. Okay, that should have about doubled the volume. What do you think, Wolfie? Is that any better? And of course at this point now I've got to start and keep on talking in order that you can evaluate that sound. Otherwise what I'm going to have to do is listen to my own sound back after the broadcast. Yeah, I am still alive. Friday was a family event and I'm cutting down streaming for a bit, Wolfie. There's lots of things going on here and I'm just cutting down a little bit, so I haven't been streaming at the weekend and I'm probably just going to be streaming Monday, Wednesday and Friday for a little while until we get some other things out of the way here, and then I can maybe start doing a little bit more. But okay, what does the microphone sound like then? Here I am waiting to see. I doubled the volume roughly, but it may need some more. I can go up to about 20 times if necessary the volume before it starts to get a bit silly. Because of a problem last week, was it? I deinstalled it and reinstalled it, and lots of things didn't quite go back the way they should have done. Okay. Well, Sunday would be. I think for a while it would just be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but maybe we'll see. Otherwise, it could be Tuesday and Thursday instead. I'll see. I'm not. I don't know. What I am kind of waiting for this summer is to do this glass training, but I'm still waiting. And what you'll have to do, Wolfie, is train really hard so that you can win all the competitions, and then you won't need to train anymore. Is the microphone okay? I'll go back to sticking a needle in this canvas then, if it is. One of these days I'll save up and I'll get a lavalier mic rather than this desk mic, I think. That way the audio will be a lot closer, and you'll like this desk mic. Still a little soft. I can boost it a bit more. Let me boost it a little bit more. Let's take this to 10. Okay, that's giving it another boost. If I got technical, it's 3 dBm, but 3 dB. So I've doubled it, but. I should really have connected all the meters back up and looked at them, but yeah. What I must do when I get this right, I guess, is write them all down. Then, if I have to reload OBS like I did, I don't have a problem, and just set it exactly as it was before. But when I was trying to debug the problem with the microphone clicking, the audio clicking, I disabled quite a lot of stuff as well. A lot of the filtering that was on it and things, and that changes the volume as well. So if that's still a little too quiet, let me know. I can still boost it a little bit more. Got to be careful just how far I go, just because otherwise we get too much noise, I guess. But then you get sort of lots of background hiss. How's your broadcasting going anyway? I have seen you going live a few times during the day whilst I've been at work. But your projects are all right. Well, that's good. It's been I was going to say it's been particularly busy at work. That's not strictly true. It's been I've had issues to deal with at work, which meant that I had to concentrate more than I normally do, which meant I couldn't put any streams on. I normally like to put a stream on or a YouTube video just playing in the background. It helps me concentrate most of the time. But this past week I've been dealing with things where even that was too distracting. You can only be busy on 2 large projects. Oh, okay. Just smashing music while building. So what are these 2 large projects, or are you not saying at the moment? And you may well have told me this before, but yeah, I'm an old man, I forget things. Or at least that's my excuse. And you'll soon be old as well, if I remember correctly. Another 4 days, isn't it? Oh, have I got that wrong again? Oh, the slave set on the king. Oh yeah, you've mentioned both. Yes. You see, sometimes I just need a little jog of a reminder. You know, you're quite privileged in a way that I've almost remembered when your birthday is, because I sometimes forget when my own is. And for the life of me, I cannot remember when my father's birthday is at all. If I don't talk to you before Friday, then I'll wish you a happy birthday and a good time on the day. Because I don't think you'll be dropping in on streams, will you, when it's your birthday? Or maybe you will. Maybe that's what you want to do on your birthday. Right, I did over the weekend I was getting concerned about the amount of wool that I'm going through here, because I'm going through a lot more than I was expecting. Not that I knew exactly how much I was expecting to use, and like I've gone through more black than I was expecting, so I'm going to have to buy some more black and hopefully try and get it the same colour, which I know sounds daft to anybody that's watching, but black is quite a hard colour to match. Even in wool there's very subtle variations in colour. I've left myself with enough wool though to hopefully blend the black in, but I was kind of worried about this wool I'm using here, which is sort of multicoloured. It's rainbow wool, and I was at the craft shop where I got this particular wool from this weekend, just window shopping, but I did happen to notice that they were still selling the same wool, so it does look helpful if I run out that I will be able to get some more to finish this off, because it would be a real pity if I got almost to the end and couldn't get any more. And I don't have to worry about colour matching this either, because of course it keeps changing colour, so you're not going to get the same colour next to each other to be able to go, oh, that's black and that's not quite, or something, you know, because of this purple, this sort of purple has gone next to orange, so I defy anybody to see whether that purple is the same shade as there, which is probably a comparable point. It has its it has its ups and downs, shall we say, having multicoloured wool. Advantages and disadvantages, perhaps, is what I should have said, rather than ups and downs, but I'm not sure I can think, speak and broadcast at the same time. It may well be I can do any two of those three. Time, quality, cost triangles, yeah. quite know why I'm leaning over. You will go through the canvas. Sometimes for some reason the needle just seems to sit right on the thread and it refuses to slip either side. We've got the next triangle coming into view here, which is kind of fantastic. I'm going to put that one over the top of the black. I don't know whether to put it over the top of the green or put the green over the top of whatever this is. It's probably going to be brown, I think, that one. I've got a big ball of brown wool there. Kind of haven't decided yet. I suppose really I should put it over the top of the green, because looking at this, sort of the green has gone over the white, the black's gone over the green, so this should go, and this is going to go over the top of the black, so it should go over the top of the green as well. Not that it actually matters. Artistic choice, you see. It's the sort of thing that whatever you choose, it will drive some people potty, thinking that it should have been the other way when they look at it. The bit I'm not looking forward to, and I never am when I do rugs, same with latch hook rugs, is actually finishing. I was going to say finishing it off. I don't mean finishing the rug itself, but the four sides all have to be seamed, turned over and seamed, and then turned over and fastened to the back, so that the edge of the rug is where the wool is, where the wool ends, so you don't leave sort of a it wouldn't go down on the floor, so to speak, looking like this with with a frayed edge like this. It would be folded over to create a nice neat edge, and then that gets folded over right along that edge there. Now potentially I can use a sewing machine to sew that down. I could even potentially overlock it like you do with blankets. But that, when I come to do it that way, and so that has to be hand stitched because you can't go all the way through, and that's going to be a fairly long job, and I never look forward to doing that. Even when I do the latch hook rugs, and it's kind of like you're just stitching it through the large weave. It's just kind of one stitch per weave type of thing, and you can skip them every so often, but it's still a bit of a pain in the neck. Actually, what I have got that might help is I've got myself a curved needle. Dealing with a straight needle is kind of a pain, literally, because the canvas doesn't want to bend, and you're trying to sort of, especially with the latch hook rugs, but with this as well, the canvas doesn't want to sort of bend upwards to let you get the needle through and back out. So with a curved needle it should be a lot easier. I've got a semicircular needle now. I used to try it with a sort of a fairly shallow curved needle. That was better, but still a bit of even a physical pain, because trying to hold something that small and sort of put pressure on it, it digs into your fingers. But hopefully with a semicircular needle, it should go through fairly easily without needing to be sort of forced. So I am hoping that bit turns out to be a little bit more pleasant to sew when we get that far. That won't be for a little while yet though. As I mentioned, I think we're only about halfway through this rug. Even with curved scissors, sometimes you can't get in the right place. Make up your own jokes. And back to unwinding wool. I'd love to see, if only just to see it once, how they actually sort of wind wool. I'm guessing it must wind on some sort of bobbin which they then withdraw, but the way this, I suppose it just goes up and down, this spins, I guess is the way they do it, but it's kind of fascinating the way it always lays down perfectly in the balls. And this one has a sort of a smaller core to it as well, as you'll see when we get that far. It's coming into view. Being a little bit careful about unwinding it. I don't want it to get all in a tangle. I don't really want to be unwinding knots or undoing knots as well. There we go. And back down to the core. So I'll just put that to one side if it doesn't catch on my rough skin. Reverse layer this down. If you're not familiar with why I'm doing this, it's so that I'm pulling threads off of the top of the pile, not the bottom of the pile. So if I try doing that, I'd just drag the whole pile towards me. That would have the effect of pulling the loops out of the rug as I'm making it and making a big knot. So by laying it back on top, I should end up pulling it off the top, and therefore not quite as many big knots as I would have got otherwise. So 8:20. Okay. I don't have to make your arms tired when you do that. And where did I get to? There. Okay, so we start here. I always forget. I mean, I've only just taken the needle out, so quite why I'd forget, I don't know, but I do. One time I used to leave all these ends on. I used to do it with the when I was doing it with the thinner threads rather than the wool. But with the thinner threads, I used to always end up sort of catching them either with my fingers or something, and pulling sort of lengths of thread out. So that's why I now sort of, as a matter of habit, always cut the threads off basically as soon as. Not as soon as I can, because I mean I could stop and cut that off now, but when I sort of part the thread, I cut off its starting tail at the same time for that reason, and the wool would be easier to catch. So. One of those things that you learn from experience. You only do it so many times before you remember. Right, a minute, just throw those diamond dots away. I've got all the packets on the last one that we did, which was the tiger. Still sat there. Got to throw them away. I can't use them for anything else, so unless I want to sort of make doll's house cakes and decorate them, I guess. But I say doll's house because you wouldn't want to make real cakes and decorate them with plastic dots. Still 25 degrees in here. No, it's not. It's now 26. Now, if I wasn't broadcasting, I know exactly how I'd cool down. I am broadcasting, so I can't do that. Well, one thing I just noticed something. The computer sat next to me on the desk just there, and I was just going to say the one thing that I'm quite pleased about is that I was about to say 2 computers I've repaired recently. That's not true. I've repaired one, which is working quite nicely. It's an old computer, and I probably won't use it very much, a laptop, but it is working. And that was replacing the power connector on it, which was a bit of a pain to do, but got done. And then another laptop, which the backlight's gone on it, and I took it apart, and in taking it apart I broke the keyboard connector. Now that's not something that's really easy to replace, and it kind, because I don't have the equipment to do it mainly, but it kind of meant that it was no longer worth replacing the whole screen, because it's a combined screen backlight with LED backlighting, and so it becomes almost cheaper to buy a new laptop. But I did manage to get it back together again, and the keyboard connected, and that is continuing to work rather nicely with an external screen. So just seeing the computer that's on the desk next to me just reminded me I've got a laptop there as well. That's the one I tried running OBS on the other day, and it shut down from overheating. At least I'm assuming that's why it shut down, because it was in the middle of OBS doing a test broadcast, as it does, and the fan had been running flat out for some time, when all of a sudden it just went boom, and the disk spun down and the power was off. Which was actually surprising in a way, because the older laptop, which was running on Linux, actually successfully completed that broadcast test, and would broadcast, albeit on about a 640 by 480 screen, but on the newer one couldn't take the heat. Thought I could hear the fans running on the computer, which would mean they were spinning quite fast for that. because A, they're silent fans, and B, most of the time they're just idle, because there's plenty of cooling in the water cooling to support something like about 400 watts of power dissipation. And I normally don't generate that much. Mind you, that is what in really cold weather. It used to be quite a good way of warming the studio up, was to make the CPU and the graphics card work hard for a little bit, and then sort of pump a few hundred watts of heat out, so which of course then was dissipated into the room. But so if it's cold, play a game. Warms the computer up, warms the room up quite nicely. Save on the heating bills. Don't need to turn the thermostat up. Play a game. Serenity, eh? Now doing that shallow angle there on the next triangle that's coming up, it's going to be interesting, which we're coming up to really shortly actually. Just because it's so shallow, you're trying to sort of, you've got long stitches. You have to try changing technique a little bit just to give a good edge. company that makes this particular needle in the UK is a company called Webster's. You think off the top of my head. What it could do with is this, if anybody's watching from it, this ring here could do with being wider, you know, stick out more, because it's just the right size to press against your finger while you're doing this, because you tend to slip down rather than your finger sort of coming to a stop against it, which would be quite nice. You sort of tend to come over and it presses and it bothers you after a while. Not that I expect anybody from Webster's is actually watching, but you never know. Good night, Wolfie. Have a good evening. I assume you're off to watch a film. I'm going to be stopping in a minute anyway when I just do this last bit. So nice to see you again. Have a happy birthday for Friday. Right, well, I think I will stop a little bit early tonight. I'm not doing too bad, but it's rather warm here in the studio. I'm going to get myself a drink, cup of tea, I'm going to cool down. So I've got a fair, well, you can't actually see how long it is, but if I start and do that, oh, of course, I'm thinking, what's all this dark stuff down here? It's the side of the desk, of course. There's a fair chunk of fog there. So it's going quite nicely. Banging the microphone, just roll that up a little bit. There we go. So you can see the edge. Just see the edge, but it's there. We're doing quite nicely on this. It's nowhere near finished, as I say. It's about halfway. I think it's about halfway. I suppose I could measure it and find out, but I'm not going to at the moment. That's just sort of a guesswork. I think it's about 37 inches long, if I remember rightly. So it sort of looks like it's getting there. I am, as I say, I'm going to stop for this evening. Thank you everybody who's watching. Anybody who would like to see the next stream will be on Wednesday, approximately 7 PM UK time. We're now on busy summertime. So that's 1 hour ahead of GMT, which is 1800 hours GMT, 6 PM GMT. Do your own calculations to your local time zone or ask Google from that. And if you'd like to see this broadcast or any of the earlier ones again, some of them are available here on Twitch, but once they time out on Twitch, Twitch only keeps them for a couple of weeks, you can find them on YouTube, youtube.com/ZaragonArt. And we do a lot of crafts on here. Some of the crafts, like the jewellery, is available for sale if you would like to take a look at any of those pieces. Take a look at the shop, zaragonart.etsy.com, and of course there's my own website, zaragonart.com, or www.zaragonart.com if you wish. And there's a little bit of information there about some of the crafts. It's a work in progress. Maybe get some time this week to do some more on it, but it is, it's something that will build up over time. And of course, if you'd like notification of when I go live, you can push the button at the top of the stream there to follow and get some notifications from Twitch. Or if you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/ZaragonArt, then you can tweet when I go live, and if there's any reason a problem with going live, I'll generally tweet to let you know. So that's the best place to get information. If you really would like to see some of the pictures and things as well, a little bit more information, we do also have the Facebook page. Check that out, follow that. Bits of new information tend to go up there. Longer bits of information tend to go up there. The shorter bits tend to get tweeted and maybe put on there. So good place if you want to know anything about Zaragonart. There you've got the complete suite of areas. So again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you on the next stream. Bye for now.